dogged out, disrespected, ran through, mistreated. Y'all gotta forgive me. I was just uploading a video to my Instagram. Check that out if you're not on my Instagram. Abundance versus scarcity. Hopefully, I spelled it right, cause boy, them words they'll go to getting you. I had took a little break from Instagram. Y'all got to forgive me 1 second. My wife just texted me about what she want from dinner tonight. Cause I'm gonna pick up dinner. I was just thinking today, and God bless you. Keep your head up now. If you find out a way that you can cook at home and it's cheaper than getting something that's cooked at a restaurant, then God bless you. But I was just doing the math today, and I'm like, man, all that it takes for my wife to cook and like doing the cooking and cleaning and all of that, the dishes and just preparing and doing all that it takes to cook and going to the grocery store, buying all the groceries, the inflation on the groceries. I'm like, you save more, I save more money just going and buying a meal from the restaurant that's prepared by a trained chef, and they selling a little cheaper because they got volume coming in. Whereas my wife not a chef, she don't like cooking, she don't enjoy cooking. I'm not a chef, I don't like cooking, I don't enjoy cooking. But that ain't what we talking about. I want to share that though, just because we have all these different narratives, and sometimes people get stuff misconstrued to where, oh, cook at home, Tony. Why you don't do this? Because I don't want to do the dishes. If the Lord the bless be the well, I could go curbside, pick it up, come home, eat good, put it in the trash can. That's what I'm finna do. It's like, listen, if you want to be doing all that, go right ahead. God bless you. I ain't doing all that. If I ain't got to now, sometimes you got to. Okay, you do what you got to do. Just like I was out of power for 3.5 days. Do what you got to do. I ain't go to a hotel, stayed at the house, no AC, no lights. But I want to touch on this because somebody asked this question in the comments. Like, what Tony, can you speak on women cheating on a good man? And very, very futile question. Don't know if that's the word right there, but we're gonna use it. And what I mean by that is a man is not God. That's what you got to realize. The next thing you have to mean, God forgives, men do not. The next thing you have to realize is that a man is not a woman. Every day, millions of women get cheated on. They find out, they fight the woman who slept with a man. They cuss the woman out who slept with a man. They run the woman off who slept with a man. They go fight, fuss, and cuss with a man, but then they go lose weight, look better, dress better to make a man like them again. A man is not a woman. If you cheat on a man, you are getting ready to experience the closest thing to hell on earth. I want you to understand that. And if your man allows you to cheat on him, and when I say cheat, I'm talking about physical cheating, meaning you slept with another man. And what I'm speaking on only applies to you slept with another man, meaning slept with him or something sexual, like it could be oral or what have you. I'm not talking about emotional cheating. It's not the same thing. Some people say emotional cheating is worse. It's not. It is, yes, it can be deeper in the sense of you can have real feelings, but it's not. You can't get pregnant from emotional cheating. You can't get stretched out from emotional cheating. You can't catch a STD from emotional cheating. All you're going to catch from emotional cheating is feelings. And emotional cheating could be you talking to your coworker of the opposite sex or of the same sex if you used to be gay every day at work. That could be a form of emotional cheating. And that happened in the workplace all around the country every day, all day. People laugh, they smile, they joke, they have these deep conversations, but listen, Ain't nobody sleeping with nobody. Ain't no kids being had. Now, when it turns into the physical, that's when it goes to the next level. A woman cheating on a man is different than a man cheating on a woman based on this, not Tony Gaskin's rule, based on societal constructs. So, because there was a time, even in the Bible, where men could have multiple wives, it was normal for men of different races, religions, colors, creeds, income levels to have multiple wives. Women actually got used to that. And although certain religions and certain laws change that to where a man is supposed to be with one woman, some women still did not know. Give me 1 second. Some women did not know how to accept that, how to believe that. Like, really? Like, I got a man all to myself? And so that's why you see so many women justifying cheating. Like, I have heard beautiful women who a man really wouldn't even think about cheating on if he didn't know she was dumb. And I'm using that tough word, that harsh word right there, but in the literal sense, if he didn't know she was dumb, he wouldn't have thought about cheating on her if she didn't have the spirit of a little dummy on her. But there are women, I wish I could bring it up right now and share my screen on YouTube if I could just easily type something in and find it. But I've seen beautiful women who are on men's like poster board, like women who look like the posters that guys had in their room. I never was one of those guys with posters on my wall of women, but you know what I'm talking about. Women who look like that have said, I don't expect my man to be faithful. Like, I expect the man to cheat. I'm not worried about that as long as he cheats respectfully. And it's like, you know how they scratch the record on the what? What did you say? Like, how can he cheat respectfully? Like, what does respectful cheating look like? Like, I get what's being said, but it's just no such thing. It's like, you want to put a napkin on the lady lap. Oh, here you go. Put this napkin right here. Okay, and let me tuck one in your shirt. Okay, respectfully. Okay, let me get your hair right. Okay, let's get that. Okay, maybe want to do a ponytail. Okay, turn around. Let me do your ponytail because my wife told me to cheat respectfully. Okay, let me blouse your shirt out. Okay. Like, what is cheating respectfully? Okay, all right, done. Okay, gonna take this right here. Let me go to the restroom and I'm gonna wrap this up in some tissue and put this. Guess what? Not gonna put it. Actually gonna wrap it up in tissue and put it in the trash instead of flushing it so it doesn't fill up and maybe stop your toilet up. She just told me to cheat respectfully, so I'm just trying to make sure I check all the boxes. Like, what exactly is cheating respectfully? Like, I'm respectfully asking, like, how does a man do that? And that is the stupidity that some women live in. That's the spirit of little dummy that some women operate in, and it destroys society. Because if you give a dummy a license to be dumb, like if you give a man, a grown boy, a license to be a grown boy, he has no incentive and no reason to just say, you know what? I want to be a strong, married, 100% faithful, monogamous, God loving, God fearing man. Like, I want to be amazing. He has no incentive to say that if a woman says, I don't care if you cheat as long as you do it respectfully. Now, of course, what that means is don't do it without protection. Don't get the woman pregnant. Don't have the woman coming over to the house. Don't have the woman calling the house phone or calling you at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Don't have the woman posting you on social media. That's what they mean by that. Just although it sounds very stupid, I know what they're talking about. But you can't control that because that woman has feelings. So one day she gonna catch feelings and she gonna grandstand and she gonna post your man. So this is how, and the reason why I'm going off on this right here and explaining this a little bit longer is because I want you to understand the stupidity of a lot of women, and because of that stupidity, that's why it's totally different when a woman cheats than when a man cheats, because it lowers the bar when you have absolutely beautiful women based on societal constructs saying that they're okay with their man cheating. It lowers the bar so low. So then a man says, okay, well, these women who look better than you, who got a nicer butt than you, nicer breast than you, flatter stomach than you, better skin than you, longer hair than you, these women are saying they are okay with a man cheating. As long as he provides, they're okay with a man cheating. Now, what the man is not saying, he's not saying that, yes, I understand she has slept with, 50 to 100 men. Yes, I understand that she may have, you know, a bunch of STDs, or yes, I understand that she maybe was violated at a young age and all she cares about is financial stability because she grew up, in a shelter or from group home to group home, or she was just broke, busted, and disgusted, really poor, and she just cares about money, having a nice car, a nice house, nice clothes, and she doesn't care about her body because she used to actually sell her body or just give it away for free to any man who would try her because of her childhood trauma. The man isn't saying that. What the man is just looking at, and what he's gonna pretend is that like she's this classy, respectable, smart, wholesome woman who has decided that she's okay with men cheating. He's not going to highlight her childhood trauma, her brokenness, and all of those things. So what happens with that is it lowers the bar, and then it makes other women who may not, look a certain way or feel a certain way, be like, well, how can I expect my man to be faithful to me if these women who actually have a platform or have money or have all these curves or have all this, beauty that's praised in the movies and the media, if they're saying they're okay with their man cheating, how can I expect my man to be faithful to me? And I don't think a woman ever rests and gets completely comfortable and complacent in the sense of thinking that her man will not cheat. Like, I don't like, even though my voice is so loud online and I do what I do, I don't think my wife is complacent. Like yesterday, I was on a random street and I had stopped by this co-working space and I pulled up in the parking lot after I got gas, and I just turned down that street and I went all the way down the street and I got to this parking lot and it was on this random street, but my wife has never been there. And while I was sitting there for a little while, and then I was sending a text message to a coach and in regards to my son. And then so I probably was there 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then when I got out, I was talking to the owner and my wife called me. My location is on my phone. My wife never calls me. Now, maybe she didn't look at my location, but she called me. She's like, hey, I was calling to check to see if you got gas. But if I didn't get gas, I would have wrote her, call her, or text her. But what I am assuming is she looked at that location. She realized that I said I was getting gas, and she hadn't heard from me. And then she looked at that location and she didn't recognize that location. It's not the kid's school. It's nowhere she recognizes. This could be a woman house. And so I get a phone call, and my wife never really called me like that. And sometimes we will talk about it, like not like about that, but just sometimes conversation will come up and she will say something that kind of says to me, like, wow, you don't all the way, like, you don't realize I will never cheat on you and I'm not going to cheat, that I got way too much to lose, and that this is way bigger than you. This ain't about you and me loving you and your feelings. This about God. This about my blessings, my favor, my righteousness, my salvation, my purpose, my calling. Like, and I see women in the comments who, because they have no belief that a man could be faithful. It's women in the comments be like, Tony, watch yourself, stay prayerful, stay mindful, don't, you know, be humble, because the same thing that happened to such and such could happen to you. And I'm like, no, it cannot, because you have to choose to talk to somebody. You gotta choose to pull your thing out. You gotta choose to text them, set it up, call them, set up. It's so many steps that you gotta go through. To where if I got ready to do something like that, you're not gonna hear from me anymore. Anyways, I ain't coming back on here. Like I'm finna just go off the side of a cliff. I'm not finna do that. And also because I've been out there, and I think that's why God uses me, because I know what it feels like. I know that it ain't nothing between the woman legs that she could offer me that I don't that gonna blow my mind away. It is nothing that's gonna be any different, any special. It ain't. The only thing that make what a woman got between her legs special is how a man feel about her. Regardless of what he tell you, regardless of how he brag or subliminal posts online, he is lying. If a man is not in love with you, it is basic. It is no different. I don't care what you think you got going on, what kind of supplements you take, what kind of oil, juices, and berries. It is basic. It is normal. It is regular. It is raggedy. There is nothing special about it unless a man loves you. That's the only thing that make it special. I'm here to tell you, from a man that was out there by the age of 21, hadn't had enough experience to know the difference. So there's no reason or desire for me to want to cheat on my wife. Now, when it come down to a cheating woman, it makes no sense to me, because a woman is not charged with the call of being fruitful and replenishing the earth. That's what's given to a man. And a woman does not have a body part that just instantly reacts, like in the morning, just randomly. Like, as men, we have a body part that it has a mind of its own. Like, I literally could, like, a man could get up and just be walking to the car, and the thing go to standing up. A breeze could blow, the temperature could change, his body could get tired, and that thing just it just does what it does. And when it does what it does, it sends a signal to the brain that it needs a release, that it is full, it is ready, and it needs a release. And it could be you're not even thinking about a woman, you don't even want to do nothing, but it sends a signal, I need a release. I have not met many women that are like that, that just randomly have that, just the thing just floodgates open, and she just sitting down there whoosh, and she just got to go dive on something. There are women, but a lot of times when you talk to those women, it's an outlier rule. Something, she was introduced to that feeling at a young age by either a family member or a grown man or a grown woman, or somebody told her how to do stuff for herself down there, or somebody did it to her, and then she had that release, that feeling, and then her brain became addicted to it, and she, just not knowing any better, just knowing that she didn't understand, she didn't know what oxytocin was, but she knew that when she got that feeling, it made her for a little while forget about her pain, forget about her problems, forget about her worries, forget about her fears, because it was a high. And so she continued to chase that feeling. And that's the same thing for men. When you get that feeling, and all of us who have had that feeling, we know what it is. It's numbing. It what some might call nirvana. I don't even know what that is, but namaste. It just it's a outer world feeling. And it's only for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, however long it may be. And then all your problems come right back. All your pain come right back. All your memories of your trauma come right back. So then guess what? You want to get back to that feeling as soon as possible. So you might give yourself 24 hours. Some people will give themselves 16, 18, 16, 14, 12. I remember hearing a young lady that said she had to have her release. It was on a video, I guess, that went viral. I think she said either every 4 hours or every 12 hours. It was something like that. But that's trauma. That's not healthy. That's an addiction. But all it is, it's an addiction to the feeling, to the release. And so a woman cheating, it really doesn't make a lot of sense to me for physical reasons, but it does make sense to me for emotional reasons. Because what I have found whenever I talk to a woman who has cheated on a man, I would say 80 to 90% of the time it was emotional cheating that led to physical cheating. And so that's why people say emotional can be worse. And if you mean it like that, then I agree, because the emotional will eventually lead to the physical if it gets too far, if you keep. And so, but then the physical definitely takes the cake once it gets physical. Like if you ask any man in the world, would he rather a man talk to his woman and hear her hopes and her dreams and her fears and hear her laugh and make her laugh, see her cry, or would he rather that man to insert himself into his woman? He would say the latter, the talking, the laughing, and all of that. Now, if the talking and the laughing and all of that is going to lead to the insertion, the intercourse, then he would say he don't want neither. He don't want the emotional. If the emotional has to come with the physical, he will say he doesn't want the emotional. But if he had to choose one out of the other, not both, one or the other, every man in the world will say he would rather his woman emotionally cheat. And that's just because of how we see things as men, because we are physical. We physical touch. We are territorial. Now, I don't know how women would answer if they had to choose. Now, we're not saying one leads to the other and all of that. We're saying if you had to choose, would you rather your man be emotionally cheating or physically cheating? I don't know how women would answer that. I'm not a woman. A lot of women never experience real pure love from a man. So I believe that would lead some women to say they would rather their man do something physically, because women think that the physical does not mean anything to a man and it's just a transaction, and that's not true. And a woman may fear her man cheating emotionally and falling in love with another woman. And that could happen. And then if that emotional leads to the physical, then it leads to the man leaving the woman for the woman he was emotionally cheating with, then that's, I believe, what would make women say, hey, just do something physical. Like just wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Like get in, get out, if I had to choose. And I think that's why some women choose that, and to each their own. But when a woman cheats on a man, it is seen differently, in the sense of it's seen differently for one reason, because women see it differently and describe it differently. So if you have a woman, and I seen this video went viral, And the woman said, it is far worse for a woman to cheat than for a man to cheat, because a woman is a receiver and a man is being inserted into her, and she takes on his body, his spirit, his whatever. I'm adding to it. I'm kind of explaining what she was saying. Then for a man, it's just like a thing that's a tool being used to poke, and it's in and it's out, and he is depositing into her, not her into him. And so that's how she described it. A lot of women feel that way. I feel that way as a man, in the sense of just with a woman's body can have more complications. I don't feel that way in the sense of it's more of a transaction for a woman and less of a both people feel the same spiritual transmitted disease or spiritual transmitted demon. Both people leave with a soul tie. So on that side of things, it has the same consequences on both. A man is just as attached to that woman after sleeping with her as a woman is attached to the man. It's just men are more stoic and men know how not to show it. And then a man can hide what he's feeling by sleeping with another woman. So a man may not heal from it. He just continues to repeat the cycle. Whereas a woman may show more of her emotion, her frustration, her disappointment for this intercourse not going further emotionally. And like the quote says, a woman will give intercourse for intimacy, and a man will give intimacy for intercourse. And it's describing the two different natures between the woman and the man. So when women and men believe that a woman cheating is worse than a man cheating, even though it's the same thing, that in society, just the construct, the idea of that, it makes it worse, because what we think and believe, we accept to be truth. And so if we lived in a place to where monogamy wasn't a thing, then nobody would see it as bad. Like nobody thought that these kings with 1,000 wives was a bad thing, because that was their norm. They didn't know any different. So once we have societal norms, once we have constructs, once we have laws, we have belief system, we have religion, that shifts the mind. So now the mind says, no, this is not right. You're not supposed to do that. So when a woman takes and cheats on a man, like even my 17-year-old told me he doesn't want a woman. He doesn't want to marry a woman who has ever slept with a guy. This is a 17-year-old who is still a virgin and has no real understanding of the world and just how common sex is, just because it's not common for him. And he don't understand. He does know several of the young ladies his age have slept with a lot of guys. He does know that. But yet he's still holding out hope that he's going to meet a young lady who has saved herself the way he is saving himself. And I believe he can, because I know me and my wife, not the only good parents that's trying to instill righteousness and purity in our children. So I believe he can. But think about that. If a 17-year-old man 17-year-old boy who's never had sex doesn't want a woman to have had sex when he meets her, to start courting her for marriage, then imagine a grown man who knows what it actually feels like, who knows what it actually looks like, who knows what it actually is, what it actually does, what actually can come from it, who has done it in every way possible. So that's what a man pictures. And I remember talking to a lady, and because when you go and you get that forbidden fruit and you go into that realm, you could end up doing more than has ever been done. And I remember talking to ladies who would tell me that they did more with their side man than they did with their husband. that when they cheated on their husband, they had experiences in the bed that they had never had with their husband. But when they cheated on their husband, now majority of them, it was because the husband had cheated on them. And the husband was distant, the husband was rude, the husband was nonchalant, not taking care of their emotions. So that opened them up to allowing a friendly conversation, a hey, how you doing? Or ha ha ha, kiki at the coffee machine at work, to keep developing, and then eventually it goes all the way because the man continue to hurt the woman, break her heart, make her feel less than, make her feel unattractive, make her feel all of these things. And then the woman starts to internalize and believe these things like, oh, am I unattractive? Am I overweight? Is my overweight unattractive? Does my husband no longer or boyfriend no longer love me, no longer like me, no longer attracted to me? Oh, am I ugly? Oh, am I repulsive? Am I disgusting? And so let me see. So this guy is laughing, he's smiling, he's speaking. Oh, so you think that I'm beautiful? You think that I'm worthy? You think that I have a great personality? You think I have a great smile? You think I have a great mind? And so as humans want affirmation. Humans want confirmation. So now this woman starts to receive from this man what she's not getting from her man. And it almost becomes this thing that's like a default mechanism in the woman to seek approval and to seek affirmation. This is also what leads to a lot of men cheating. Although a man can have a perfect woman and still cheat on her, is and women can do that. But so let's say a million men. Now let's say 100,000 men will cheat on a perfect woman, like a woman who does everything that he could think of that he could want. Let me plug in my computer real quick. And then, so if 100,000 men will do that, what I found is probably maybe 10,000 women will do that. Because the experience we have as men is we have a lot of experience of being rejected by women. So any man that's ever been out there shooting his shot, there's a lot of women you approach and she says, I have a husband, I have a boyfriend, or I'm taken. It happens more often than not. It happens more often than not. There are women who you approach and she says she's single, and then you tell her you got a girlfriend or you talking to somebody, and she'll cut you off. Like she'll be like, "Oh, you got a girlfriend? Okay, cool. Why are you talking to me then?" And this is what the red pill community doesn't want to admit, and that's because these guys have never been out there. Like they've never went and shot their shot at 200 different women. They've only sat behind a computer and watched porn. So they really don't even know women and how women move. But if you talk to men who have actually been out there, really doing the thing, like really shooting shots, really out there in the field, then they will tell you it's a lot of women that will turn you down because she taken, and you can look better than her dude. You could be taller than her dude. You could have more money than her dude, and she will turn you down. But when she becomes susceptible is when her dude ain't doing what he supposed to do. 9 out of 10 women, that's when her mind gets open. Is when her man is not treating her the way he's supposed to treat her. But if a man is treating a woman good, man, that woman be singing that man, praising, drinking that man dirty bath water, posting that man, talking about that man. You can't get nothing. You can't get a handshake out of her if her man treating her good. Like, yeah, she nice, she friendly, she'll talk, she'll laugh, she'll whatever, but it ain't going nowhere. If her man doing, honestly, if a man doing half of what he supposed to do, you pretty much can't cheat with this woman. And this coming from a former dog who was out there now. But when the man started cheating, or he start beating, he start cussing out, he start dogging out, mistreating. So if you a man watching this and you not treating your woman the right way, if you not already getting cheated on, you about to, you might get cheated on. But here's the other crazy thing is there are countless women. When I tell you countless, I mean millions of women who have been cheated on, beat on, cursed out, dogged out, and never cheated on the man. Never cheated on the man. There are women who you will know is being dogged out and you will shoot your shot and she won't cheat. And that's just her standards. That's just how she loves. That's just how her heart is. But then there are women who they gonna cheat. They gonna cheat, and that's just their own choice. That's their lot in life. And for whatever reason, typically what I found is that those women were not raised right. They just were not raised like they didn't. Like if a woman had a half decent parent, half decent lessons in life, she pretty much gonna be a faithful person. But when a woman just have a different type of story and just wasn't taught, wasn't raised right, or just went through too much, a lot of times those women don't have any loyalty just because they've never really seen loyalty or received loyalty, just like a lot of the men. And so when those women cheat, and when I say cheat, I mean physical cheating, the relationship with the man, the same thing happens, ironically. So most men, and when I say most, I mean like 60% of men, if he catches woman cheating, he'll stay with her. The relationship is over though. He fixing to dog her out. She finna get the worst treatment in the world. But his insecurity, he stays with her because he wants to have the last laugh, and he wants to get the upper hand, and he wants to finish. He want to make sure that he can win. He want to embarrass her, expose her, take her back from the other man for his ego, and then he fixing to treat her like a dirty piece of toilet tissue. Like he is about to treat her just terrible. And some men will wait 6 months, some men will wait a year. The woman will never live it down. If the man actually says he's a man of God and he's gonna forgive, and he's gonna forgive because he knew that he was mistreating her, or he cheated on her, or he pushed her to that, he may say that, but it'll be probably most likely maybe 100 men out of a million that will move forward as if nothing ever happened, that will love like he's never been hurt, or like he's never hurt her. I would say at the most, I would say 1,000 out of a million men. But other than that, it's not gonna be good. It's gonna be, the woman will be reminded pretty much every week, if not every week, every month. And if the man let it go for a while, he gonna bring it up on at the worst times, on the worst days. He might bring it up in person. He might bring it up at the child baseball game, at gymnastics meet. He might bring it up when a song come on, when a TV show come on. That woman is never going to live that down. So if you let yourself get to the point, and to be honest with you, that man can have PTSD. Men are not wired to be cheated on. Just mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Like they talking about Cardi B revenge cheated on Offset. I could honestly see Offset getting back with Cardi B and just having nightmares and waking up and just choking her out till she pass out, till she blue, beating her. I could honestly see her losing her life because he's not a Christian man. He's not a walk like Christ type of man. Like he come from the streets. He come from the bottom of the bottom. Like you don't cheat on a man like that. but she come from the street. She come from the bottom of the bottom. So that's why she put her body and her life at risk to revenge, cheat on him. And those are the type of women who end up getting killed because they don't understand that a man don't handle issues and situations the same way a woman handles it. They don't understand that double standards are real, and the world, society created the double standards. They don't understand that you could look that there's double standards in the Bible. Like there's parts of the Bible that, like, for example, let me give you an example. In First Timothy chapter 2, verse 12, King James Version, but I suffer not a woman to teach, not to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. And Amplified Version, I do not allow a woman to teach or exercise authority over a man, but to remain quiet. And then they put in the congregation. Another version, I permit not a woman to teach nor to have dominion over a man, but to be in quietness. I allow no woman to teach or to have authority over men. She is to remain in quietness and keep silence. Now, the book of Timothy, I believe, was written by Apostle Paul. Apostle Paul, who was, known to be the single man who was inspired by God and wrote, I think, 13 books of the Bible or something like that. So that's what I mean. So even in the Bible, in this portion, now there's another scripture that says your sons and daughters will prophesy in the last days. So that's why people trying to say that's why we got prophetess. But the people that they be making an example of is not real prophetess. Upside, so we not in the last days. Cause these women telling you to stock up on bees. That's not no prophecy. And so you have to realize that double standards are real and it's in society and it's not going anywhere. Like there will always be a sector of people that feel it is worse for a woman to cheat than a man to cheat. That will always be in existence. It will always be a group of people that says a man could have multiple wives. A man could cheat, whatever. That will always exist because it has existed from the beginning of time and it still exists today. So if it has not changed in all of these thousands and thousands and thousands of years, it's not going to change because our society is only getting worse, not better. So what you have to realize is that a man don't handle cheating the way a woman handles cheating. So if you are a woman and you physically cheat on a man, unless you with like Mr. Rogers, and I think Mr. Rogers will slit your throat. You cheat on him. You go get that thing away on Mr. Rogers, I think you liable to, and I don't know if he passed away, God rest his soul if he did. But listen, you're not safe. If you cheat on a woman, if you cheat on a man, let the relationship go. I'm telling you now, let the relationship go. If he beg you to stay and he's just sincere, he gay. And the reason why, now listen, there are exceptions to the rule, but I can't say that online because you're gonna think you the exception and you're not the exception. Now, if I have a coaching session with the both of y'all on Zoom, then I'll be able to tell you if this man is telling the truth because I could read them. I'll be able to read them, but I think the only man who will say that is a gay man, and you are his beard. You are his cover up. Like, listen, I love marriage. I love the Lord. I love my wife. If I find out my wife had sex with another man, like I wouldn't leave for her kissing another man. Like if because a man could kiss her, could lean over and kiss, I wouldn't leave for that. I wouldn't leave unless I was being perfect. Now I ain't never been perfect. I wouldn't leave for her laughing and kikiing or what y'all call emotional. I wouldn't leave for that. But if a hard stroke entered my wife, and I don't care if we've been married 70 years and I find out that it was in the fifth year, I still probably leave. I can't say for sure, but I still probably leave. And that just, but see, also, I am not every man because it's certain men that they lived a different life. And so there's a small percentage of men, like maybe 1 to 3% of men who will get cheated on and will stay and will move on and be happy. But I think those are also the same type of men who would have threesomes with their wife with a man, or who would like pay men to do stuff with their wife so that they could record it, like P. Diddy. That's the type of man who, because he doesn't value his body, he don't value the woman body, he don't value marriage, he doesn't. That's the type of man. But and the thing about it is too, honestly, when we cheat, it's selfish to cheat and then have our partner find out and then want them to stay with us. That's selfish. It's like, nah, if you want to cheat and cheat messy enough and enough to where you get caught, that means you went all the way. That means you did too much. That means you kept going, because to be honest with you, there's people who cheat and never get caught. Like, to be honest with you, there's ways that cheating could happen and it never get discovered, because you got to think about it. If somebody at the job got a handicapped bathroom. If somebody is talking for an hour every day at lunch, they go in that handicapped bathroom and work it out, get wore out, and then come home and come home happy, smiling, kikiing. The spouse don't know the difference. The spouse don't know the difference. So it's ways now. What to find out is if the other person go to texting, sending nasty pictures while the person at home, stuff like that. That's what I mean by the person started cheating. They got complacent. It went too far. And so what you got to realize is when something like that happened, because and I'm gonna tell you why a lot of people have cheated and never got caught. That's what grace is. That's what people don't realize about grace. Grace covers a multitude of sin. When people get exposed, it's because they took the grace for granted and did not repent from that multitude of sin. If you go that far, you don't deserve your partner to stay with you, to even consider staying with you. You don't deserve it, male or female. And so as a woman, if you cheat on a man, it's a few things that's possibly going to happen. He's going to make you an emotional slave, a physical slave, or a sexual slave, or a mental slave. Like, if you cheat on a man, he is going to make you pay a grave price. And you're going to be a do girl. You're going to get cursed out. You're going to get talked to like trash. Like, it will give him a license to make you his human teddy bear, his human punching bag, his human spit bucket, his human semen bucket. It will give him the license to just treat you like crap. And you got to love yourself more than that, because you already didn't love yourself. And that's why you went and cheated. So now you got to love yourself to say, hey, if I didn't love myself enough to go and cheat on this man, then I at least need to learn to love myself now, to know that means the relationship is dead and I should walk away, versus staying in this relationship and being beat down mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, or whatever way it may be for the rest of my life. Like, you broke the covenant on your end, even if he had already broken it on his end. When he broke the covenant was broken. If he broke the covenant, some women are cheating on a man that they don't know if he's ever cheated on them. Some women are cheating on that man. Some women cheating on a man who don't talk to them bad, who's not emotionally, physically, or verbally abusive. Some women are cheating on a man just because they are loose booty and they man may be seen as boring. He may be all the time missionary. And I have talked to women like that. And they're like, Tony, I'm tired of missionary. I'm tired of missionary. Like, want some doggy style sometime. And I'm just sitting there. Okay. All right. Okay. All righty. Okay. And and so that right there. But guess what? That just could be those women. That don't mean that's how every woman feels. So a man got to know his woman, learn his woman, talk to her, communicate with her, see what she wants, see how she feel. And that's what a lot of men don't do. A lot of men are distant. A lot of men don't inquire within, don't ask questions. I got to ask your woman what she want, how she feel, get her to open up, get her to talk through it, because that strengthens the relationship. And so all of this lack of communication, this lack of whatever, it leads to infidelity. But when you cheat as a woman, you and your man stays, you got a man who want to dog you out, or you got a man who you are his cover up, and he actually is dealing with men, whether it be virtually on a screen or in person physically. So think about this. Get this in your spirit. I had a call come in from one of the executives I work with, so I need to holler at them real quick. And so think about this right here. And remember, my videos, they long. I could do all these videos in 1 minute, but what would be the point? Like, I could tell you in 1 minute. So I give a lot of different scenarios. So if you're new here, this my teaching style. I teach, I share it in several different parables, several different scenarios, so you could get it and see. And I'm not explaining my beliefs. I'm explaining now. When I'm explaining my beliefs, you'll hear me read a Bible scripture. But when I'm sharing this, it's not my opinion. It's based on the consensus. Like, I got this new computer. And since I've had this computer, I just counted the clients. I've had 400 clients. That's 400 different life stories that I spent an hour or more. Some of the people in there I've had several sessions with, 4, 8, 10, 12, 16, 20 sessions. So I want you to understand that when you hear me share something, it's not that this ain't coming from me, because I don't agree with our world. I don't agree with societal constructs. I don't agree with the double standards. I don't agree with colorism. I don't agree with the stuff that we have, body shaming. I don't agree with what we have going on, but I have to explain it because this is what you're going to face in the world. I would do you a disservice if I create this utopian world, this utopian belief, which is not realistic. And so that's what some women do in the comments. They will say something that is just not rooted in reality. And it's just so far fetched. It'll be like, a real man will never ask you for sex before marriage, and he will wait on you for 10 years if you wanted to wait 10 years, and he will cook and he will clean and he will protect and provide. And they would just say something that's just so far from reality, and it's like, okay, you keep waiting on that, you're gonna be looking like that skeleton on Tales from the Crypt with a little dead hair. You keep waiting on that. Like, listen, a good man is a flawed man. A man of God is a flawed man. Every man live in this here world and have to see these double standards and hear all of these narratives and he got to combat that in his mind. And a lot of men, good men, are still falling prey to toxic masculinity, still have some toxic masculine traits. Good men, men of God, stellar men still will have about 1 to 10 beliefs that just is not fair to a woman. It just is not rooted in pure love and the love of Christ, so to speak. So I want you to realize that there's no perfect woman, there's no perfect man. If we looking to complain about our spouse, we will always find something. My wife could sit up here and just tell you she probably could complain all day, but she's not a complainer. So I go to her and I'll be like, baby, what do you need from me? Like, well, how can I be a better husband? Like, let me know. Are you happy with our marriage? And she'd be like, yeah. I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, are you sure? Like, are you happy with our marriage? She's like, yeah. I'm like, what can I do better? Like, what can I do different? She's like, I have to think about it. I got to think about it. In the past, her answer used to be, I need you to get off your phone. Like, can you get off your phone and just give me even a minimum of 30 minutes? I was in my early 20s. I was trying to build my business, build my brand. And so that's what she used to ask me. And then there was a season where she would ask me, like, when you talk to me, just like watch how you say stuff. Like, you very blunt, you very direct. Like, watch how you say stuff. And it was a season where she was like, if you want me to do something, or if it's something you want me to work on, just tell me. And all you got to do is tell me in one sentence, babe, I need you to do this. And we don't have to have a 3-hour conversation about it. So those are some of the tweaks, some of the things she has and she don't harp on it, just in one sentence, but it's me seeking out that to be better. She never did what you call it, we need to talk. She's never, ever in our 17 plus years of marriage, because it's not her personality. So me knowing that's not her personality, and knowing she would like go in the shell or internalize versus voicing her thoughts, her feelings, her needs, I learned I gotta ask her, what does she need? Because she's not that type of communicator. So, but I'm a communicator. So I know my strengths, I know her strengths, I know my weaknesses, I know her weaknesses. And that is what we have to do as men. We got to be able to read between the lines. We got to be able to see if you want to be the head, you want to be the leader, you want to be the provider, or whatever it is. But at the same time, women, you got a brain, you got a mouth. So you have to use your brain and your mouth and communicate as well. You want this, tell him you want that, because he might be how my wife is. He might not be the one to have a town hall meeting, come to Jesus meeting, we need to talk meeting. So you may have to go to him and say, hey, is there anything you need from me as a wife? Like, anything you need me to do? Like, how can I be better? And this is stuff that we don't talk about. And this stuff leads to that infidelity. It leads to that cheating. And we just got to learn to ask for what we want and what we need, and ask our partner what they want and what they need, regardless of what it is. And as long as we're not asking or being asked to compromise our morals and our values, like our belief system, to go against God, to go against our faith. Like, if I ask my wife, can we have a threesome? I'm asking her to sin against God. That answer should always be a no, and vice versa. And so that's what we have to think about. Like, we're in the month of October. So we have to be careful with Halloween, because we always will dress up and the kids will go walk around. But guess what? Sometimes babies in the Lord and people who take the day very literal, and it's not, thus this day is a day of the Lord, and they take it to where everybody is Satan worshiping that day, or everybody devil worshiping. They can't separate the two. And so you have to be mindful in your just how you move. And that's what we have to understand about our relationships is everybody raised different, everybody think different, everybody feel different. And so to decrease the chances of infidelity, you have to increase communication. what you want, what you need. And sometimes you have to give an ultimatum. A lot of women don't give ultimatums, and instead they step out and cheat instead of telling a man, you keep talking to me like a dog, I'm finna go jump on me something and ride like a cowgirl. But if they would have told a man that, he'd be like, oh, for real? Oh man, what I got to do? Okay, tell me, because I do not want nothing else in you. But a lot of women don't realize that. And I'm not saying that literal, but I'm saying that literal. Like, you got to express, like, you pushing me here, you pushing me there, you making me feel like this, you making me feel like that. But hey, I got to go right on time for my next call, coach call. God bless you. We'll talk soon.